Hi, readers. So, the second assignment is all about identifying the main idea and themes. This is a really big concept, and it takes a really long time to actually get good at this to be able to identify, especially themes. So, we're going to be doing a lot of practice with this. So, if it's not sticking right away, that's okay. Take your time. We'll be talking about this throughout the school year. So, the theme of a story is the big idea or message that the author wishes to communicate. Thinking about the speaker, word choices, and key details that the author uses can help you figure out the theme of the story. And I like to say the theme, we can almost relate it to the lesson the author is trying to teach us or the moral of the story. What's the big idea? What is the author trying to teach us? So again, we have our right hand where our readers identify, and we're looking at the pinky, the main idea and themes for this lesson. So this first page here after is just to give you an idea of what the difference between a main idea is and the difference between a theme. So the main idea, what is main idea? The main idea of a text is a sentence that explains what the story is mostly about. Usually just one sentence. What's the story mostly about? So let's look at the differences between the main idea and the theme. So the main idea is specific to the one story, okay? The main idea of a text is a sentence that explains what the story is mostly about. It answers the question, what is this story about? But a theme is not necessarily specific to that story. That theme could be it's throughout many stories and it doesn't necessarily relate to that one story. So a theme is a message or lesson from the story that you can apply to your own life. It answers the question, what lessons did this story tell me about life? So these are some examples from a story that we're going to read later. So that later is here. So let's practice with determining theme by listening or watching The Invisible Boy read aloud. So I'd like you to click this link and um, read The Invisible Boy or listen along. And then what I did in here was I included text boxes where you can write right on this page. So it says, what is this story about? It's just in a word or two. So what is it about? This is what is the story mostly about? And then we're going to build a list of topics from the story, then work to turn those into themes. So, topics. This is an issue or subject matter that was addressed in the text. So, what was something that was addressed in the text? How was the invisible boy, the main character, feeling? And I put some text boxes in there. You don't have to use them all, but they're kind of hidden in there, so you have to click to find them. They're every other um, they're every other line. Okay. Now, the theme is a message or lesson from the story that you can apply to your own life. So, what is the author trying to teach us? What is the author's intent for this story? Okay. Why did the author tell us this story? So, I'd like you don't have to use all of these text boxes, but I included them in case you needed to. So, the topic is the issue addressed in the story, and the theme is the message or lesson that the author is trying to teach us. And these can match up or they don't necessarily have to. Okay. Um, the next, so listen to the story and try to fill in this chart here. The next, I would like you to go back. Now, this says read a fresh idea. You can reread it, or if you remember it, you can try. You don't have to necessarily reread the whole thing, but that's what good readers do. We reread. And remember how we get into fresh idea. Read. Click our read button, and it's the first one here. Whoops, so I'm already there. So go back into the fresh idea, and we're going to start building theme from this fresh idea story. So it says complete the graphic organizer. You will use it to help you identify the theme of a fresh idea. So the characters I filled in for you are Molly, Molly's mom, and Mr. Taylor. The setting is Molly's neighborhood in spring. And then I'd like you to finish this graphic organizer. So what happens in the middle of the story and what happens in the end of the story? In the beginning, Molly learns that the tomato stand will not be at the summer market anymore. Molly sees her neighbor in his garden and gets an idea. Mr. Taylor lets Molly use his land. So in a sentence or two, what happens in the middle? And then what happens at the end? What was the conclusion? Okay. And then I'd like you to try to think about what was the theme? What lesson did we learn from a fresh idea? And I'd like you to write your response in this area here. Remember, finding the theme can be a little hard, so we might have to talk about this a little more later. So if it doesn't come to you right away, that's okay. You can write me a note in that little area. So then we're going to read another story in Wonders, and it's called One Hen. I really actually like this story a lot. So when you click your read button,
Read.
One Hen will be the third story over. And it's a great story. And I think the moral or the lesson should come out pretty clearly after you read this story. But let me know if it doesn't. We can talk about it and I can help you. So read One Hen. Reminder how to get there, McGraw-Hill. Go back to Schoology and you have to click into that Wonders that we just clicked. Okay, so read One Hen. And how would you describe the theme of One Hen? Write your response below. What is the lesson of the story? So try your best. See if you can figure out what was the author trying to teach us of the story. And then the last slide of our assignment 2 is similarities and differences. That's another strategy that good readers do is we compare. So do you think the theme of One Hen is similar to the theme of a fresh idea? Why or why not? Use complete sentences and write your response below. So down here, do you think the theme or the lesson in One Hen was similar to the lesson in A Fresh Idea? Yes, you could, or no, you couldn't. So tell me why or why not in the space below. So this is a big concept. If there's still questions about theme and main idea, we'll talk about that. And I hope you are able to work on this independently this week, but we will be working on this as well in our live meetings. All right, take care.